trying to keep tabs these days on how many miles are on the car. People do ask me that question all the time. Looks like we're at 104,222 miles. Got this car in October of 2020. See those whole giant trees stuck there on the dam. Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from Rochester, New York. We are back in Rochester. It's been about a month since I've been here. Of course, been staying with Jen, and then we had decided to take a trip to Florida. I had wanted to show her, ever since I met her, I'd been wanting to show her Disney World. Disney World, one of my favorite places on earth, and I wanted to be able to share that with her. It was really exciting being able to see someone experience those things for the first time. Of course, took her to Magic Kingdom. She loved it. She loved Winnie the Pooh. We rode a few dark rides. She really liked Small World, Peter Pan. I think the Pooh ride was her favorite. A very Pooh-centric view of Magic Kingdom from Jen. And then, of course, we got a chance to go to Hollywood Studios and see Galaxy's Edge. Of course, Jen, a massive Star Wars fan. So being able to see the Millennium Falcon in real life was a big deal for her. Her favorite ride was what is it? Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is not a lot of people's favorite ride. I think a few people said, "Oh, that's interesting," when she said that was her favorite ride. But she's a huge fan of the original Star Wars movies, so I think being able to ride in the Millennium Falcon was probably a lifelong desire of hers. But yeah, we had a good time in Florida. And from there, we traveled up to North Carolina, where I visited with my children. We had a little Thanksgiving dinner with the kids, with my ex Christy, and some of her friends. Sat down and had some Thanksgiving dinner with all them. We tried to, trying to maintain a friendship, maintain a dual role as parents of our children. And then from there we went up to Indiana and visited my mom, my stepdad, who I'll just go ahead and say that I got some very good news. I had been talking about this on my channel, but my stepdad was actually diagnosed with some very serious, of course it was always serious, but he was diagnosed with a very serious form of cancer back in the spring. And yeah, it was really upsetting. My stepfather, one of the nicest, most genuine human beings that I've ever had the pleasure to meet, and he was diagnosed with a very serious form of cancer. And just the day before I showed up there to celebrate Thanksgiving with my family, within the course of under a year, I think about an 8-month period, if I'm remembering correctly, he is, as of this moment, cancer free. So a very good news for the holidays in my family. Everyone was very happy after a very stressful, very scary year in my family. So now we're back in Rochester. Just missed that there wasn't a huge much snow here in Rochester itself, but in Buffalo, about an hour and a half from here in Buffalo, they had 7 feet of snow, which is not something I'm a huge fan of. One of the reasons that I have made my residence in North Carolina is because of the weather. So right now, it's in the 40s right now, but Rochester does get very cold. Rochester does get a lot of snow, so fingers crossed that while I'm here in Rochester, it doesn't get too brutal, because I'm not that good. Not that good when it comes to snow. Yeah, we're down here right in the middle of downtown Rochester, where the Genesee River here runs right through the middle of town. The ducks like to hang out there in the deeper water so they can swim around. I think these white birds like the more shallow water where they can stand and have their feet on something solid. Now normally, you know, I do like to keep this channel all about traveling, all about seeing interesting things on the road, but you know, last month, about a month ago, I did a video walking around downtown Rochester where I talked about some of the personal things going on in my life, and you guys did seem to have a positive response to that, so I figured, you know, we could do this every once in a while. Every so often I could, you know, go for a walk, talk about just some of the things going on in my life, fun things, serious things, not so serious things, just kind of whatever's going on. There'll always be traveling content on this channel. That'll always be the primary focus, but I do, you know, I'm becoming more and more comfortable incorporating some of my just my day-to-day life here on the channel. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Just kind of peppered in every now and then. You know, when I feel like I have something to talk about, I can just take the camera out and take you guys for a walk as we can just talk about what is on my mind. And like I said, last month, got some stairs here. All right. Last month, one of the things I did talk about was my diagnosis that I had been diagnosed with about a year ago, and I was very nervous. I was very nervous to talk about that diagnosis, just because, you know, it changes people's perception of you, changes the way people think about you, and so I talked about being neurodivergent. And you know, that term, it's a wide term that can mean a lot of different things. What my diagnosis is, of course, neurodivergent, a lot of things fall into that. Attention deficit disorder, a lot of different things. So basically, if your brain works differently than a normal person, you are neurodivergent. What my specific diagnosis is, and I was really nervous to name it directly, but I figured I'd just go ahead and let you know. I have ASD, which is Autism Spectrum Disorder. So yes, I'm autistic, and that, you know, that term to me, it's a loaded term. It's I think a lot of people jump to specific views on what autism means, and have preconceived ideas about what autism means. Autism, as I said, autism spectrum disorder. So it is a wide spectrum of. So what my therapist told me is, you know, once if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person, because there's such a wide variety of ways that it manifests, that it shows itself in people. And yeah, it was something that I was born with, something that has affected every moment of my life. And yeah, I'm just learning now. It's kind of, everything's kind of making a little more sense at the same time. Very scary to have this big spooky diagnosis lurking over your head, because it defines you in a way. And I think that was one of the reasons that I was nervous about talking about this on the channel, nervous about making this public, is, you know, I didn't want to become the autistic vlogger. I didn't want this channel to be about autism. It's not a channel about autism. I don't feel like autism is my only defining trait. It is clearly a huge part of who I am, but I didn't want it to be something that is synonymous with who I am. So I do feel like it's scary right now saying this on camera and putting this out there, that is who I am. That is a huge part of what I do and how I do what I do. As I mentioned in the other video, if I was not autistic, this channel would have never been created. It takes that little different bit of wiring for me to be able to do what I did on this channel and build this channel to what it is. So I don't want to get too deep right now into kind of how autism affects me. Maybe in a future video I will talk about it a little more. Again, I was gonna leave things a little more vague. In the last video I said, you know, I was neurodivergent, which is a much broader term, but I really got such a positive response. So many people, you know, hundreds of people told me, you know, that they too were neurodivergent, some of them autistic, some of them having other disorders, and it really made me feel good, it made me feel accepted in a way. So because of that, I did want to talk about it a little more, and, you know, maybe in a future video I can more get into the weeds on what goes on inside this brain, talk with you guys about that. But I did mostly right now just wanted to thank everyone for their hugely positive outpouring. Not only were so many of you neurodivergent, but just you know, new people who were neurodivergent. I would say pretty much everyone out there has someone, if they're not neurodivergent themselves, they have someone in their life who is, because it's not the rarest thing in the world. You know, some people, and I wanted to respond to some comments. I don't consider them negative comments, because I don't think the people that made them had negative intentions. But what I got a lot of was, you know, people make comments like, well, everyone's a little different, and that's true. You know, people saying things like, you know, you don't need to label yourself, you just have some quirks. And I think these people did not mean any harm by what they said, but yeah, I don't think that, like, I'm not trying to say that I'm special or that I'm unique because of autism. I think it is like 1 in every 100 people is autistic. So that's a huge amount of people. That's a massive amount of people. You know, if you see 100 people in one day, one of them will be autistic. You come across so many people in your life, and such a large portion of them are autistic or neurodivergent in other ways. So yeah, I mean, it's not an attempt to try to be unique or anything like that. I'm simply relaying my struggles, and just because a lot of people have those same struggles, that doesn't, yeah, I'm not trying to say I'm unique in those struggles, because a huge amount of people, and I feel like talking about them is helpful to myself and to other people, because traditionally these things weren't talked about. I think traditionally you always just tried to be as normal as you could, and you never talked about your actual struggles. And I think in today's society we are getting a little more into the groove of that it's okay to talk about your mental health. It's okay to talk about the differences in your brain and how being neurodivergent, how that affects you. You know, it's okay it's getting more acceptable for people to just say, I'm not doing very good mentally, and I think that's good, and that's all I'm trying to do here. Share that, maybe it will help someone else in some way. And just as a side note, and I'm not, again, I didn't take offense to this. I don't think the people that said this were trying to be hurtful, but you know, the thing that people are saying, you know, oh, you're just a little quirky, you're just a little different, don't worry about it. And I think what I would like to say to those people is, people that are neurodivergent, people that have mental health issues as well, you see them, you see kind of their behavior, and you're like, oh, okay, they're doing good. They're a little wacky, a little zany, but that just gives them a little character. It's not that big of a deal. But I think for people suffering mental illness, for people who are neurodivergent, a lot of the struggle is happening in here. A lot of what I would call my struggles in life, I think, are things that people don't even necessarily see or notice. You know, because that's mental illness. It's an illness in your head. Neurodivergent is being different in the brain. So a lot of struggles, and I'll just give like a little bit of my struggles, is a lot of anxiety around being around people, communicating with people. I'm not one of these people that says I don't like people. I love being around people. I travel, I see different people all the time, but it's a constant struggle on how to act, what to say, a lot of anxiety every day of just trying to figure out how to act, how to be normal. And it's something that I'm actively working on. It's not something that I'm throwing my hands up at. It's something that I acknowledge is a struggle and try every day to make better. This building here is the Blue Cross Arena. We've got some sort of sporting arena here. I noticed looking in the window, there's something on fire. Not a negative type of fire, but okay, it's a never forget World War II fountain, and it's got a flame there in the middle. This is a pretty interesting mural here. I don't know if this is supposed to be old-timey downtown Rochester here. See, this mural has some weathering to it. You can see the ship there. There's a guy playing the banjo on top of the boat. And what is with this giant donkey, or maybe a horse or something, or mule? This person, look, this person's this tall. Unless it's a very small person, but all the people seem to be dwarfed by this this horse here. I mean, look, he's almost as tall as this building. All the other scale seems to be fine in this mural, except for this singular giant horse. Does anyone know about the giant horse of Rochester? Leave a comment in the comments section. You can see some cats there walking along the edge, watching the boats pass. This woman walking down the steps there with the flowers. I think she better be careful, because I think this guy might be Jack the Ripper. I don't want to accuse him of anything, but she's alone here, and he's got a very Jack the Rippery vibe to him. What's this here? Lecture on astronomy given by Dr. C. Kame at the planetarium. Yeah, almost a forgotten mural here down on the walkway. You see this guy here in the top hat with his child, showing him the ships rolling in to Rochester, presumably. And since I'm down here, I'll show you guys a little peek here of something fairly interesting. So we walk over here alongside the river, and that is this right here. We'll take a peek. This is the old abandoned subway here in Rochester. Oh, I just heard a bump, but I think it's the cars over our heads. I got scared there for a second. Yeah, this is the abandoned subway here in Rochester. Back in the old days, back in my old urban exploring days, I would have hopped down here and explored. Maybe, I don't know, maybe someday, if I get the wild desire, I may explore the subways here a little more. Is that something you guys would be interested in? I know I get asked every once in a while about doing abandoned exploration. And yeah, I'll never deny that the urban explorations were a huge part of what helped this channel in its early days, helped this channel get some traction. But yeah, I don't do that anymore. There's a variety of reasons I don't do it anymore. When I first started, you know, I was really interested in it. I was interested in going in the old buildings and seeing, you know, things left to time, seeing the historical things left behind. I definitely always lean towards wanting to make this channel more about roadside attractions and traveling. But back in those early days, I couldn't necessarily afford to do that. So, you know, doing the abandoned buildings, doing the exploration was a more practical option, because I couldn't necessarily travel all over the place like I am able to do now. And, you know, there's other issues. You know, when I first started, you know, if a video would get 100 views, 200 views of an abandoned building, you know, that was fun. But then when you start getting thousands of views, and maybe even 10,000s of views, it becomes a little more of a liability, because people will know where you're at, and it will get back to the owner of the property, if the owner exists. Property ownership is way more complicated than you may think, but you know, there becomes issues of legal gray areas on whether or not you're allowed to be in places, and it will encourage other people. You know, if you show that something's accessible, it will encourage other people who will vandalize and demolish. People that don't treat the buildings with respect may use your videos as a way to try to figure out where stuff is that's accessible. So yeah, definitely there's urban exploration that's done the right way, and I always try to do it as right as I possibly could. But you know, there's a legal gray area that you often find yourself brushing up against, as far as, you know, trespassing laws go. So I kind of try to it's such a headache that I try not to do anything that would brush up against trespassing laws these days. I feel like I don't know, I feel like there's less interest maybe now in doing those abandoned buildings. Let me know if you guys feel different. I just feel that, like, maybe the abandoned exploration was like a period in time, a trend, and maybe less people are interested in seeing abandoned buildings. And of course, it's just you know, with everything on YouTube grows, more people do it, things get more, I don't want to say diluted. I don't ever want to discourage people from making content, but there is a lot more creators on YouTube than there was when I started. So you know, it got to a point, I think, where you were seeing different creators doing the same locations, and I think you still get that with the sites I do now. You know, I don't own all the roadside attractions. I don't own the museums. I don't own the amusement parks. I don't have any problem with anyone filming the same things I film. I feel like I try to give my unique perspective, my unique point of view, and that's why people would choose to watch my video over other people's. And you know, some people like other personalities better. They'd rather see a different YouTuber visit a place than me, and that's fine. You know, that's fine. That's all part of YouTube, is that anyone can go out there, anyone can create, and hopefully what I do is unique enough that people will continue watching me. And I know this conversation is going all over the place. I'm just kind of emptying my brain here. But one thing I've noticed is that I am getting noticed more. If I'm out and about, I have run into people that watch the channel. For whatever reason, it seems to be happening with more frequency. A lot of times I'm at amusement parks. I run into a lot of people that are familiar with me, familiar with my videos. Met a lot of people at IAPA. I think Trans World earlier this year was a lot of people recognized me there. So for whatever reason, people seem to recognize me more when I'm out and about in public. And I just wanted to say, if you see me in public, it's 100% okay to come up and say hello. It's 100% okay to ask to take a picture. Sometimes I get messages from people where they say, oh, I saw you, but I was too nervous to come up. Please don't be nervous. I promise I'm not intimidating. It feels good to me. It really feels good when I see people face to face, people that watch these videos, that appreciate what I do. It means a lot to be able to say hello to someone, to have them tell me, you know, that they enjoy my videos. So yeah, please don't hesitate. Of course, you know, there's always exceptions. What I always tell people, the joke I tell is, if come up and say hello unless I'm pooping or crying. Yeah, obviously, you know, don't stick your head under a bathroom stall to say hello to me. That'd be weird. If I, hopefully you won't see me crying in public. But yeah, unless there's some obvious reason that it would be inappropriate to come up to me, I love hearing it. I love seeing people face to face, telling me what their thoughts are on my videos. So please, if you see me out, feel free to say hello. Feel free. I'm always willing to take selfies, anything like that. So yeah, you know, it's something that does mean a lot to me, because I don't think I've had a personal bad experience, but like you hear stories about people that meet, maybe they like an actor or like a musician, and they try to like maybe talk to them, and then the actor, musician is disinterested, or says, you know, I don't want pictures, leave me alone. And you know what, I'm not even like crapping on famous people that do that, because I'm sure that there are, you know, people that are way more well-known than me. Maybe it's become a nuisance in their life where they literally can't go out in public. But to me, at this point in my life, it is in no way a nuisance. It actually makes me feel good. So yeah, I always want to try to treat people kindly, to make people feel good. I don't want people to walk away from meeting me and feeling like they've had a bad experience, because I always think that's a bummer. When I go to like conventions and there's famous people there, I don't ever go up and meet them. I don't ever go up and say hi, because I'm just so afraid that if they're rude to me or dismissive of me or disinterested in me, that it's gonna make me feel bad, because I've spent all this time enjoying their work and I don't want to make them feel bad. So I try really hard. Anyone that enjoys my work, enjoys what I do, I don't want to make them feel bad. So please come up, say hello, shake my hand, let's get a selfie. It probably means as much to me as it means to you, because I like knowing that there's real people out there that see these videos and that they mean something to them. So guess we'll wrap up our ramble here. Of course, future plans, got some plans beginning of the year for maybe a big road trip. I'm gonna be trying to just maybe film some Christmas events, do some Christmas events at amusement parks or theme parks, the holiday season. Hope you guys are doing well. Please take care, and give me some feedback. Let me know. Again, I'm always looking for ideas, always looking for things to film. If there's holiday things that you'd like to see on this channel, let me know in the comments section. If there's things that you want to just let me know about in general, leave those comments as well. Again, you guys make these videos possible. You guys have supported me through all of this. You guys have supported me through me having to give up my job, having to do this full time, having to travel ridiculous lengths. You guys have been by me. You guys, through this last year or so where I've been going through a divorce, you guys have stuck by me. So thank you. Thank every one of you. You are the track to my train, the water to my boat, and the air to my dirigible. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.